The three-body problem, the conflict between body, mind, and being. Since ancient times, we have searched for patterns in the universe. The movement of planets, the rhythm of the tides, the cycle of the seasons. We find predictability in almost everything around us. But what happens when a system becomes so complex that we can no longer predict its future? This is the three-body problem, a physics enigma with no exact solution. Now imagine that the same problem is happening within you, your body, your mind, and your being. Three forces pulling in different directions, creating instability, chaos, and a sense of disorder. If you feel like your life is constantly in conflict, that there is a battle between what you desire, what you think, and what you truly are, maybe it's because you are trapped in your own three-body problem. The three-body problem in physics. In physics, the three-body problem arises when three celestial objects interact gravitationally. If we have two bodies in space, like the Earth and the Sun, we can predict their movements with precision. There is a fixed relationship between them, a balance that allows stability. But when we add a third body, everything changes. The interaction between these three forces creates a chaotic system where small variations can lead to completely different outcomes. If we apply this concept to our inner world, we can see that we often live in a state of perpetual instability. What we want, what we think, and what we feel never seem to align. Just like in the three-body problem, small changes can send us in completely different directions. And what happens when a system lacks stability? It becomes unpredictable and chaotic. This state of disorder makes us feel lost and without control over our own lives. This concept inspired the book The Three-Body Problem, where humanity discovers a planet in a system with three suns. There is no regular cycle of days and nights. Sometimes a single day can last for years. Other times, the night never ends. The climate shifts violently, making survival as we know it nearly impossible. Now, think about this symbolically. What if a similar system existed within you, where three fundamental forces never find harmony? The three bodies within you. Within each of us, there are three fundamental forces that govern our experience: the physical body, the mental body, and the being. The physical body is the biological machine that carries us through life. It responds to impulses, desires, and primary needs: hunger, sleep, pleasure, pain. But there is a subtle difference between what the body truly needs and what the mind desires. The body may need food to survive, but the mind may crave food as an escape, out of boredom, anxiety, or habit. The mind can make us eat without hunger, sleep without exhaustion, seek pleasure without real need, and avoid any form of discomfort. This puts us in a constant state of imbalance. If you cannot distinguish between the two, you may end up mistreating your body, either through excess or deprivation. We spend much of our lives ignoring what the body truly asks for. And when this happens, we create cycles of addiction where we seek immediate pleasure to relieve momentary discomfort, without realizing that we are moving further away from balance. The mind is the operator of this machine, but not always a reliable one. The mental body is made up of thoughts, beliefs, and patterns that shape our perception of reality. It imagines, analyzes, and plans, but it also creates illusions. The mind is never satisfied with the present. It is always projecting into the future or trapped in the past. It creates desires and fears, expectations and anxieties. And the more we identify with the mind, the more we suffer. The mind projects the idea of a self that needs to become something, achieve something, change something. It keeps us trapped in the endless cycle of becoming, always chasing something, never satisfied, believing that happiness is in the future, in some achievement, in some transformation. But peace and fulfillment are not in the future. They exist in the being, in the now. The being is not subject to time or change. It is not seeking evolution or progress. It simply is. It is the creative force that exists before thought, beyond the body's needs and the mind's desires. When we disconnect from the being, we become vulnerable to the fluctuations of the body and mind without a true center. The body seeks pleasure and comfort. The mind seeks control and security. The being simply is. But when we do not recognize it, our lives are ruled by the instability of the other two. The body craves immediate pleasure, while the mind rationalizes and postpones decisions. The being remains untouched, but the mind doubts, and the body resists. This internal conflict traps us in destructive patterns: procrastination, anxiety, self-sabotage. Just like in the three-body problem in physics, instability becomes inevitable. The path to harmony. The key is not to control the body or the mind, but to recognize the being. The body must be treated with respect, neither too much nor too little. It needs to be heard, not controlled by the mind. The mind must be clear and focused, but it should not imprison us in its illusions. When the body and mind align with the being, we find flow, clarity, and true freedom. But how do we recognize this presence? The answer is not in forcing it, but in silent observation. If you stop and simply observe your body, your mind, and the being in action without reacting, you will begin to notice the patterns. You will see when the body truly needs something and when the mind is just craving. You will see how the mind creates resistance, how it projects fears and expectations. You will see that behind all of this, the being has always been there, unchanging, silent, present. If you do not see this happening now, it will remain just another philosophy, another belief, and nothing will change. True transformation begins with direct perception, not theory. Now, look at your life. Are your three bodies aligned, or are they at war? If they are misaligned, don't worry. The first step is awareness. Once you see the problem, you have already started to resolve it. But awareness without action leads to no change. Silent observation is not just a concept, it is a practice. Try this now just for a few seconds. Simply observe. Feel your body, notice your breath, see how the mind tries to narrate the moment, how it tries to interpret instead of just being. If you remain in this observation without resisting anything, something changes. You begin to see clearly what has always been present. The body, the mind, and the being do not have to be at war. They can coexist in harmony. But the question remains, are you ready to observe? The matrix is complex, but each of us holds a part of the solution. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and together we'll see beyond appearances.